What's up, guys? Welcome back to Fit with Jeremy Scott, episode number 28. And I'm your host, Jeremy Scott. Today, I'm here with Eddy Alvarado. He is my guest. He's a Muay Thai champion in IFS. Okay. Thanks for coming on the show today,
Thank you
Eddy.
for having me, my boy.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. So, you just came off a major title fight win, right?
Correct. Super long camp. Um, last time I fought was like 7, 8 years ago.
7, 8 years.
Yeah. So I was
Nice.
looking for like a warm up fight. We put my name in the circuit, and the promoter immediately recognized me. And he's like, "No,
Yeah.
dude, let's do a title fight."
And this is IFS, right?
IFS, correct. They've been around for a hot minute.
For a hot minute,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about IFS. Do they do just Muay Thai events
They
or like
they
MMA?
do. They used to do boxing. They sometimes do MMA. Primarily, they do Muay Thai. They're kind of leaning towards the point Muay Thai. That seems to be lucrative as far as like getting people a little bit of experience before they hop into the amateur
Yeah.
ranks. Before they used to only do amateurs, and now it looks like they have like a schedule per year. I
Okay.
think they like for the majority it's PMTs, and then like 4 times a year they'll do amateur shows.
Nice. That's really cool. Yeah. So I noticed something I wanted to point out. So I noticed some of the fights, some people were wearing protective gear, and then some of the fights there was no head.
Yeah.
So what was that?
So like if you just start off, you start off with the shin guards. I think if you have like 3 or less fights, you have the headgear plus the gloves.
What was that how it works? 3 or
Yeah,
less?
and then I think as you get more experience, I think after 3 fights, the headgear is optional. If one person has it, both people have to wear it. And then if both people agree with fighting with elbows, you wear the elbow pads. And then the one that I did is like semi-pro, so no shin guards,
No shin guards.
gloves, and then the only thing that's padded is just the elbows, and that's it.
Got it. So are the elbow pads optional?
No, the elbow pads are if
You-
you're throwing elbows, they're mandatory until you turn pro.
Why do you think that is?
Just very
What
easy
would
to
be the
cut.
reason for that?
Very easy to cut. And again,
Yeah.
like we're not as an amateur, you're not technically supposed to make money.
Mm-hmm.
You can make money off commission from ticket sales.
Yeah.
But if you get cut, that's stitches, and that's
Yeah.
an extra hospital bill that
Yeah.
of money you don't have. Then that comes out of the promoter's insurance and all that. So it's just risky. So just so you don't get cut, you still get knocked the fuck out. But
Yeah, of
at least
course.
you're not getting cut.
Of course, not getting cut. You don't have the mess with all the blood and all that,
yeah.
stitches, for sure. So today's episode is about victory and philosophy, fighting, focus, and the way, right?
That's right. The way.
So I'm sure you can relate to these things.
Of course.
Why I have you here on the show today, Eddy. We're taking a deeper dive into not just the fight, but we're going to talk about the mindset that goes into the fight, right? So I want to pick your brain on that a little bit, specifically through the lens of the legendary samurai Miyamoto Musashi, right? And his book, The Book of Five Rings.
yeah.
Absolutely. I know you're familiar with that,
Very
right?
familiar.
You know quite a bit about that
It's
book.
my Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You actually introduced me to that book, and that book's made a big impact in my life. So
Good.
yeah, I
Happy.
appreciate that. So it's about more than just the fight, right? It's about discipline, right? It's about everything that goes into it, strategy, right? I know you can relate to that. You've taught me actually a lot about that.
I think it's more or less the process.
Mm-hmm.
So the process of how you attack something, having the student mindset over the master mindset. Are we diving into the book, or do you want to dive into the fight?
Yeah, so we'll dive into the book. First, I'm gonna ask you a few questions about the fight,
Yeah.
and then we'll dive into the book there.
All right, gotcha.
So yeah, it's about discipline, strategy, and living with purpose, right? So whether you're a fighter, an athlete, or just trying to get sharper mentally or spiritually or both, then this episode is going to be for you. You're going to benefit from this. That's what we're going to be talking about. So yeah, Eddy. So first off, congratulations.
Thank you.
That was amazing. That was awesome for me. I had an opportunity to go watch you fight, watch you go win, and take the belt, which was
right.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very exciting fight. You put on a really good show. That was well deserved. So yeah, amazing. So let's talk about it. What did winning the title mean to you personally? Tell me about that.
Honestly, I felt like on paper it should have meant a lot to me. So I've been in the game for like 17 years. I was really active about 10-ish years ago.
10 years ago.
10 years ago is when I was like on top of the game. I was probably like I would say top 10, closer to top 5 in the nation.
Nice.
In the sport, and that was like at like 135.
135.
And I was on the verge of turning pro. I fought in a lot of international cards or undercard for international cards. I was on the first name basis with a lot of my heroes.
Yeah.
Fighting the best of the best. And then I spoke with one of my heroes, and I was like, "Yo, can you make him a living off of this?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Kid, you got it. You're gonna be champ. I like, there's no doubt about it." But nah. And that broke my heart.
Yeah.
At like 20, 21.
So he said, no, you can't.
No,
make
you
a living.
cannot. Not off Muay Thai, because it's like a
That crushed your. That
yeah,
just crushed your spirit.
The only
crushed
thing you
your
can really
dreams.
do is like boxing or MMA. And at the time, like even MMA was like huge discrepancy in pay. Like if you weren't to like the Conor McGregor, like you weren't making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if you were like the Conor McGregor, like you were making like $100,000 to $300,000 a fight, comparatively speaking to like boxing, where you're making millions of fights
A lot
or
more.
millions of dollars per fight.
Big difference.
And in Muay Thai, like the best of the best is from a third world country, so they're
Yeah.
making like 1,000 to 7,000 a fight.
Not enough to make
Yeah,
a
yeah,
living,
So
right?
you'd be making the same at flipping burgers at Burger King plus
Yeah.
insurance.
Yeah. So to make a living, how often do you have to fight, and at the cost of what, right? What are you
Correct.
sacrificing
Correct. You would have to fight at least 5 to 7 times a year with no health insurance.
with no health insurance?
Correct.
Yeah, that's gonna put a beating on
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So
on your
I
body.
put a pause on that. I did life, lots of life, and then came back into the game. And my name still held like a little bit. I was getting like title fight after title fight, but it was like loss after loss. Whether like I deserved the loss, I got caught, or a split decision that didn't go my way. But either way, a loss is a loss. And then I kind of just like did more life, and then I got introduced to my current boss and partner. I teach at a gym called Quik Martial Arts.
Yeah.
And the dream has always been to do that full time, like run your own gym, do Muay Thai full time, and let that be my life. And he gave me that opportunity, took it.
So you're
yeah.
that's your passion.
Correct,
You're living your
correct. Yeah,
passion.
yeah. I
Living
live,
your
breathe,
dream.
sleep,
Teaching,
fighting.
teaching what you love.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. So what did it mean to you to win this title, Eddy? And what sparked it? Because you had time off, right? You hadn't fought
So
for how
Sorry,
long?
I like went on this
That's
rant.
okay.
Didn't even answer your question.
How long were you inactive for? Actively fighting?
7, 8 years.
I know you train, you spar, right? You keep yourself sharp, but actually
Last
fighting,
fight was like 7, 8 years,
7
and it was
years.
like I mean, it was an amateur. But the last 2 guys that I fought are currently at one championship, which is like a huge promotion,
course.
and they're like also like top 10 as pros. So coming back, finances are always like a thing, and I make enough to like eat and pay the bills. But I caught wind of some dude who like isn't doing well in the sport, like pretty much just takes L's, but like he's making like $2,000 a fight just to lose. And I was like, yo,
Just to
$2,000,
lose.
an extra $2,000 would be like really nice.
Yeah.
So I ran it by my boss. I was like, what if like I taught and fought, like, or worked towards getting my pro card? I'm like, would you be like down to support that? And he was like 100%. So I was like, all right, like let me see if I can get back into the game. So again, like I wasn't
you're
trying.
just getting started.
I was
up.
just
You're
getting. I was just trying to dip my toes into the water.
Yeah.
And as soon as I put my name in there, they're like, nah, title fight. And they gave me, I think, like 2 or 3 choices for opponents, and I picked the easiest one, quote unquote. He was 4-0, but he had an MMA career, and I think he had 2 belts as an MMA fighter. And I looked at footage of this guy, and this dude's a fucking monster.
Yeah,
Like
he's a big
he's
dude.
4-0, but he's like a Deontay Wilder, like just a big gorilla motherfucker, like knocking motherfuckers out.
Your last opponent.
The opponent
He's
that
a
I
big
just
dude.
fought.
He's a big guy, yeah.
Huge guy.
Long
huge,
legs.
Huge,
Long
huge.
tree trunk
Well, he's
legs.
like 5'11", but like
His
just
legs,
the way,
he had
the way that he
pretty
was
long
built.
legs,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he was super big. So like pretty scary. Like you get a gauge of like where the person's at. I'm like, like this isn't gonna be easy by any means. But at the same time, it was like proving to myself that I still got it, proving to the students that like what I preach works. It's almost
Absolutely.
like a business thing where like if I win the title, like that almost gives legitimacy to the gym. It gives recognition.
Absolutely.
It gives a little bit of attention,
More
promotional-
credibility.
Well, a lot.
For
A
what
lot.
you're
So
teaching, more
it was-
credibility to
it just kind of
kicks.
like aligned with everything that I needed. But it
Yeah.
was like if you really wanted to turn pro, like it was almost like the universe was just testing me. It was like if you want this, like bet, take it.
Of course.
And like it just fell right on my lap
Just fell
like
into your
that.
lap. Took advantage.
and took advantage, pulled the
Yeah.
trigger, did the thing, and it felt good. It felt good, but like it just felt like another day. So like even though like it should have meant the world to me, I think it meant more to like my students and like my cause. But like when I was done, it almost felt surreal. Where like it's not that I felt empty, but like it just felt like another day.
Just
Like it
felt
didn't
like
it
another
didn't
day.
feel special. It was
Yeah.
just like okay, like I won the title. Now
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. Now, now
Yeah.
what's next from here, right?
Yeah.
So what I want you to do, Eddie, if you can, just kind of briefly kind of walk us through what the experience was like from the walkout to the final bell, right? I just want to know kind of like what you go through mentally, right? From the walkout all the way and what you went through all the way to
Man.
that final bell when the fight was
It's
done.
weird.
I
It's
just wanna
really
know
weird.
what
It's
kind
really
of
weird.
stuff is going through your head.
It's all practice. So like I even though I had the fight, like and that was like not the first time I fought, but the first time going through that fight in particular, I've
From-
already been through that moment
From the walkout,
countless times before that night. As
right?
soon as I took that fight and as soon as I study this motherfucker, I go through like heat flashes of like putting myself in that night, like while I go to sleep, while I'm training. I'll just be chilling. All of a sudden, like I got adrenaline in me. Like, I got my veins are like
Yeah.
pulsating. Like I got that like adrenaline to fight like a
You're
motherfucker, and I'm just chilling.
And you
And
study your opponent.
I study my opponent a little bit. I try not to like idolize him or like give him too much power in my
Yeah.
brain, but like don't be dumb.
Yeah.
This dude had one trick and it was a really good trick, and he hit really fucking hard.
Mhm.
Every one of his opponents like stood right in front of him. So for me, like everyone, like if you listen to a lot of athletes, they describe the feeling of like, oh, it wasn't my opponent, it was me. For the most part, that is true. Like everyone has the ability to win any contest.
Mhm.
It's your approach at it, and lots of times there's mismanagement of approaches, and you kind of like let the moment slip away. So for me, like there were times where like I own that moment where like as soon as I walk out, like I know I'm gonna win, and I manifest it and I do it.
Yeah.
And there are moments where like there's that false confidence and I lose the way, where I'm kind of just going through the motions and I don't win, and like subconsciously I kind of know it. So for me, like it was like lots of micromanaging of like, do you really have it? Don't question yourself. You
Right.
got this. Do it. So when I went out there, like it was a mixture of like having that adrenaline at the same time staying like really calm and relaxed, just observing the situation.
How do you handle all that adrenaline?
You kind
How
of
do you
just
control
breathe,
it?
man. You kind of just breathe. I think for me, like there's lots of times where like when I spar and I focus, you kind of because you're focused, you stop breathing. I did 2 PMTs, so they're point Muay Thais, they're not real fights.
Leading up to it.
Leading up to my
Get
fight,
yourself warmed up.
Yeah. And that first PMT, I was like super stiff, and
Yeah.
I could feel myself like almost lock up. And then the second fight, I was super relaxed, super composed. But I made it a habit that on my second PMT to breathe. I also like being aware, like when you spar and you like get a lot of information or a lot of techniques blown at you, like while you're processing and dealing with that, you tend to not breathe. And then when you fire, lots of times, like you're holding your breath and then you don't breathe until
You're
after the
gassed out.
exchange is over.
You're winded.
And you're like, oh man, like that was a lot. So I made it a habit to like make sure I took a breath for everything and staying nice and relaxed. Cause when you're training, like I'm hitting pads for an hour straight.
Yeah.
I'm running fucking miles. I'm lifting weights and I feel infinite. And then you go up to that moment and you do 2 minutes of something and you're gassed and you're
Yeah.
like, why?
Of course.
So being aware of like those small things. So like even when I think about that moment and like I'm like, oh man, the moment is here, and you like I can feel it on my shoulders and my neck and
Tense.
my breath tense. And then I'm like, oh, snap yourself out of that. That's
Yeah.
not you.
Gotta
Breathe, relax.
Because that's
do
gonna
the moment.
that's
Correct.
gonna use up a lot of energy,
Correct,
right?
correct. And doing nothing. Doing nothing.
Doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So was there a point? Well, next question. Do you go back and watch your tapes of your fighting?
Yes.
And try and
Yeah.
like see what you need to correct and
Yeah.
see what you need to work on. Is that something that helps you out a lot?
For this particular fight, not really, because it's like I think the hardest part was starting.
Yeah.
Because it's like getting into that state of flow
Mhm.
and that zone. It's like it's not black and white. So like Again, this dude has the most energy within the first round. The dude's trick is if he touches you, you fucking die.
Mhm.
Like he hits that fucking hard.
Yeah.
And there's no preparation. You're
Is
like,
it
oh,
is it
Eddie.
is there like because he was KOing people, right?
Yeah.
So is it a specific punch or was all of his shots were hard?
All his shots are
Is
really
it like
fucking
a
hard.
straight right where it's just
I
like
would say
devastating?
mostly the
or
right
is it-
side. He tends to counter shot, so he'll bait you in. He'll kind of like let you beat him up, and you'll stand there, and then he's watching you the whole
Yeah.
time. So it's not like he's looking down and you're picking him apart.
Yeah.
He's waiting for you to get a little overconfident, and as soon as you throw one shot that's a little bit more relaxed,
Mhm.
fuck, he cracks you.
Yeah.
Or he'll just kind of chop away at your leg, and like the dude, I think
Did
one
you-
time he got dropped for the first time, got up, and then knocked the motherfucker out right
Yeah.
away. While
Yeah.
the dude's like, oh, like confident,
Yeah.
putting his foot on the gas, and then cracks him.
Yeah.
Done. Over. So I was like, yeah, like don't stand in front of him. And then like if you ever been like in real danger, like getting hit for real, don't fucking hurt. The floor just isn't where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's almost like a numbing sensation.
Mhm.
So like for me, like getting into rhythm and finding my footing and balance was like I guess the only issue in the first round, and then I found it. I found my range. I found my mark. I found my cadence. And for the most part, like everything that I anticipated before the fight kind of played out the way that I expected. And that was huge for me. Like
Yeah.
I didn't underestimate. I didn't overestimate. Everything went according to plan.
Good.
As soon as I found my mark.
Good. Everything went smooth. And so these devastating shots that you speak about that you knew that he threw, did you get hit with any of those during the
I
fight?
think I got hit like a total of like 4 times. Two times with his fist. The other 2 times were like body kicks that like in the moment didn't really phase me.
Yeah.
But after the fight, like
Yeah, you could feel it.
I couldn't even sleep that night.
Ribs?
Yeah, your ribs. Yeah. He kicked and I kicked at the same time, and I didn't move, and I just ate
I saw
that shit.
I saw a couple of those.
Yeah.
You guys both
and
hit it,
fucking
both
same
landed
time,
at the same
time. I
exact
went
time.
down low, he went up high, and I was like, yeah, no problem. Fucking ate that shit up, and then later that night, I'm like, yo, I can't breathe. The 2 shots down the middle snapped my head back.
Yeah.
Most of the other shots were like me throwing something and me diving at the floor or him push kicking me. And it looked like he knocked me down, but it was just like a loss of balance. The dude never.
It looked worse than it actually was.
Correct.
with those
And for
push
me,
kicks, right?
it's like, well, you're my personal trainer for
Yeah.
people that don't know. So you put me through hell, and I also put myself through hell outside of the hell that you put me through. And it's like,
We did a lot of balance.
I'll wake up at fucking, in the morning, and I see some text message from you from 6 a.m. You're like, I have this wonderful idea. Like, let's do
dreaming about it.
Let's do fucking ice baths and working out and doing this ridiculous fucking workout.
Superset.
Yeah, superset.
the ice
You're
bath,
gonna love
get in
it.
and out of the ice
and then
bath.
while I'm doing it, you're like, oh, we have more. And it's like this numbing idea, and I'm like, okay, like that's what
Superset with the
that's what we're
ice
doing.
bath.
Yeah, you kind of
while I drop an 80-pound medicine ball on your
100%.
stomach.
Yeah. And you
repetitively,
shut the fuck up and you
something
do
crazy
it.
like that, right?
And I've been in that moment where like being completely prepared and then feeling something that you were not expecting in that moment, and that is a scary feeling.
No matter how much, with all the preparation, you still.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And and I didn't go through that moment, but it's like all the obstacles that I did feel, like I think it was like the 3rd or the 4th round, or every round after the 3rd, where you're like kind of tired. I don't take pity on myself, and it was kind of like listening to you give me some fat workload, and
Nice.
in that corner, I'm like, okay, like you have 3 more rounds.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like, okay. Let's go.
Nice.
Like it's not over. Don't take your foot off the gas. You know what this dude's like capable of. Don't feel sorry for yourself. You still have more. Bury this motherfucker in the dirt. And
Nice.
just going out there and doing it.
So you're able to kind of set your emotions aside and respond instead of react.
Correct.
Right, in a way.
Yeah.
That makes
100%.
sense.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I like that. Was there a point in the fight where you had to just mentally really just dig deep? Was there any-
Just the first round. And I think that lasted about 30 seconds where like things were a little chaotic, and then I found my rhythm. And then
The first
in
round,
the
huh?
4th round, because I was trying to break this dude's arm. So for those of you that don't know, I'm actually blind from my right eye. So I can't see from my right side. That's a whole different story in itself. So I really use my left eye for peripheral vision. So like I can see my left hand here, and then
Mhm.
I can see my right hand here. So I know that if I'm in close, anything from this side, I'm
You're not
out.
seeing it.
So I'm trying to pull myself out and then tilt my head and keep him in the middle and
Mm,
keep as much space. And for me, like if I have enough space, I can react.
yeah,
So for me, I was trying to break his arms with my legs. If he stood in front of me, target the arms. I
yeah,
know, or I'm betting that my shins are tougher than his forearms.
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
biologically, like legs are a lot more dense than arms. My shins should be denser than his forearms. I'm trying to break his shit.
It's pretty easy to, if somebody's blocking,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
this to
yeah, yeah.
break
Like
from a
if you
kick,
want,
right?
stand there and then
Yeah,
let me kick your
you can
arm and
block
see
it.
whose
Yeah,
bones go out
yeah, you
first.
can
Like,
break it easy,
yeah,
right?
I'm betting on my
Yeah,
fucking on my shins.
I've seen that. I've seen videos of
Chopping
that
away at
happening
his
quite
legs,
often.
and for the most part, like,
You did chop with dude, man. His
yeah,
legs
yeah,
were
yeah, yeah,
welted
yeah.
up. They were purple, and
Black
they had,
motherfucker looking purple. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
man. His legs were messed up. I mean,
So things were going great. Like
and
I
he
was,
started his legs started getting weak. I
yeah.
saw
They
that.
actually
Yeah,
at the
he got
start of the
really.
fourth round, they stopped it because the doctor was trying to look at his
Is that
legs to
why they
see.
stopped
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
noticed
So
they
they
stopped
put
it.
us in the neutral corner. He made him do like a jumping test to make sure that his leg was still functional, and then they let it start. And again, like I was kicking this dude as hard as I could, as many times as I could, for 3.5 rounds. And right around that fourth round, I could tell, not that my adrenaline was running down, but like I was hurting my own fucking shit kicking him. And I was kicking his fucking arm and I was like, yo,
Oh
that
yeah,
that bone is bone.
yeah, 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 yeah.
and
You could feel it,
and at
right?
the same time, it's like, so like, you tell yourself like, yo, this shit's starting to fucking hurt. And quick, as soon as that like word like came into my brain, it's like, well, if my shit hurts, like imagine how much his hurts. Because again, like you standing there, and I've been on the opposite
Yeah.
direction where like you get kicked and like my brain is like, yo, if we take 4 more of those, my shit's breaking. So like,
So
don't
you got
take
to
those.
dig. That's when
So
you got to dig deep
yeah, so for me, it's like, you
mentally.
know what? Like if I'm feeling that, like break your shit,
Yeah,
break it. So fucking right at it,
yeah,
like it
yeah,
hurts, and as soon as I feel that, fucking make it hurt more, and I throw 2 more just for good measure.
yeah.
But that was it. That was the only 2 times I
That's
like
crazy.
had to like talk to myself, but like I coached myself back into it. Not that I was out of it, but like just quiet that bitch in me, and
Mhm.
then seal the deal.
Absolutely. So tell us about your training camp. What was different this time than, and what improved this time around? And this
Man.
is this is everything from what you were doing at Kicks, and also I think you added a lot of strength training,
Yes, yes,
something a little
yes,
bit
yes.
different than what you've
So
done
this
before.
was my longest camp. So again, there was like a 7-year hiatus. This motherfucker is huge. So he fought, I think, at 170, 175 naturally. I think he's done as light as 160. But like his natural frame was ginormous.
Mm,
And I think when I took the fight, I was walking around like 168. The fight was at 165. So I was like, if this dude is fighting at 170 or 165 or 160, that means this motherfucker's walking around 190,
180,
185.
190,
Yeah, yeah,
190.
huge. So I knew that I was like super small compared to him, like just muscle density wise. So I hit you up and I was like, look, dude, like I need to pull out all the favors I need. And this
Yeah,
was 3 months out.
3
So like a
months.
normal camp is like anywhere from like 4 to like 6 weeks, 6 weeks being long. I had 3 months to get ready for this motherfucker.
Yeah,
And I told you, I was like, I need to get as fucking big as possible
yeah,
naturally,
natural. Yep.
lean. That way I can fight at 160 and be like just as fucking big.
So this
Uh,
training camp was like double the time of what your normal training
correct,
camp would
correct.
have
So I
been,
think
right?
the process you had me bulk up. So I went from 168. I think the highest that I got was 187, and then
Mhm.
I cut down from 187 to 160. I weighed now 164.8.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a huge transformation. Every
Your body transformed drastically.
drastically.
Yeah.
For 3 months, there's like no fun. All I did was
Major
fucking train.
sacrifice.
Everything.
And just so everybody listening can kind of understand, what went on and how you made such a drastic body transformation. I mean, yeah, we were doing it for performance, so you can operate at peak performance, right?
Mhm.
So you can be, explosive, fast, strong, have endurance, right? That's what we focused on with your conditioning. But as a result, your body transformed majorly. So why did your body transform like that so fast in such a short amount of time? Because what?
I,
What did you do? How
I've
did you make that happen?
I've been there before as far as like what you're really going in there for. You're pretty much trying to kill a motherfucker
Yeah,
and also trying not to die.
yeah,
I know the exact output of what I need. as far as like literally using my shin as an axe and chopping away at a person's forearm,
That's how you see
trying
it.
to break their anatomy.
That's
And
what
like
you're thinking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like I've been in that moment where like even when you're tired, like you have to do more to put this person away because he's also fighting for his life.
Even when you're tired,
Even when you have nothing in the tank, you have to fire
or you
or
feel
you
like
die.
your body's giving out.
Correct. So it went from like force feeding myself to eat to not eating enough, but like counting my calories and eating the right stuff.
Keeping track.
As soon as I wake up, I'm running. I'm hitting pads in the morning. I'm intentionally sleeping to let my body recover. I'm taking stupid ass ice baths before I lift weights. I'm lifting weights, and even the weightlifting is like super dynamic and
Yeah.
different with balance, reaction times, a
Yep.
little bit of cardio.
It's not your traditional
yeah,
strength training. It's
No,
not
I'm not
just
trying to like
basic
bench 400
bench
pounds
press, squats,
one time.
deadlifts. It's not about that.
Super dynamic.
You're weighing your food out, right?
Weighing my
Keeping
food
track.
out. I have counting the calories, figuring out what I'm eating, like what is more efficient. Like I can eat a lot more fucking chicken as opposed to like eating sausage.
Yeah.
Having my vegetables, using Greek yogurt,
Yep.
cottage cheese, and a little bit of fruit for flavoring, and having my proteins while having my calories, being a calorie deficit, and then going to work, teaching, and then doing more pad work.
And you were willing to do whatever it took.
Whatever it
If I
took.
told you to eat double the amount of protein that you're
You could
supposed
have
to, you probably
fucking
would've-
fed me
Yeah.
testicles and be
Yeah.
like, if you eat this shit,
And
you're
you would've
winning.
ate
And I
those.
would have been like,
Yeah.
gross, give me two
But you
more.
would have.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
And that's the sacrifice you have to make. That's the mindset that you have to have, right?
100%.
At all costs, right? Nothing's going to get in the way of me being successful at this, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. Literally.
Especially because if you lose, you like half flat, like you can't sleep. Like it's not like fucking basketball where you lose, you fucking play next Tuesday and you get that dub and you feel better. You lose, you could sit on that fucking loss for, in my case, 7 years.
Yeah.
Where you're like, fuck, dude. Like if I would have just
You took that
ran
L.
that extra mile, if I would have just fucking eaten that bullshit smoothie, if I would have just pushed myself in that moment where I didn't want to listen
That's
to my
the
fucking
thing.
trainer,
That's the
just
thing.
fucking do it. But if like again, if I came to you asking for help, knowing the situation, as far as I have a lot riding on this, other than just my ego.
Yeah.
If I would have not done anything, then like it's not your fault. It's
course.
on me. Like I
Absolutely.
can't be fucking begging for shit and not putting in the work.
If you know that you didn't do everything that you could have done and then you lose, that's going to beat you up mentally, right?
1,000%.
That's going to eat away at you at night.
Yeah.
Knowing that you could have worked harder, or you could have done more, or you could have been more accountable with the diet, or you could have gave it a little bit more in the weight room.
100%.
I think that's going to eat away at you.
I think walking into this, I knew that there was nothing else more I could do except for do the thing. So like if I lost, it's not like, of course it would have fucking sucked, but like
Of course.
I would have been like, oh, I could have like worked harder. Like, nah, like there are times I worked so hard that I had to make myself rest. And then as soon as I felt like I was just good enough to do stuff, I would do more stuff. And I was like, I probably should have rested a little bit more.
So you addressed all the things that were within your control.
100%.
Right? And then after that, you go out there and fight, and you let nature take its course, right?
100%,
And that's out of your control after that. But you did everything that's within your control.
Everything and some. Yeah.
So even if you would have lost, it would have been, that you did everything that you could possibly do. So you would have
with
taken
the
it
wisdom. It's one thing to like put in effort, but then there are times where it's like wasted effort because you don't know any better.
Right.
But like I've been in the game for a while, so it's like I thought of every possibility with like as long as I've been in the game that things could go wrong.
Yeah.
And I fucking took care of everything. And like there's nothing that I could think of that could go wrong, and did the thing.
And look at the result.
Yep.
Question: how do you deal with nerves and fear leading up to the fight? How do you deal with that? What do you do?
Mental preparation. Your
Mental prep.
imagination is so important.
But it still shows up, right? Nerves and fear.
I think a balance of everything. So you can't be so afraid that you freeze. You can't be debilitated by the fear.
Letting
At
it
the
take
second
you over,
time,
but still being aware. would you say?
one,
And
yes, a
and
little bit of
acknowledging
butterflies,
it,
a little
right?
bit of fear is healthy.
It's good.
Overconfidence is also equally as bad. Being too relaxed is also equally as bad.
Yeah.
So being fearful, slightly fearful, but also being confident, somewhere in the middle.
It's a balancing act.
1,000%.
That's what it sounds
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
Okay. And after a big win like this, Eddy, what's your process for recovery? What's it look like for you a week after that fight, mentally and physically? I'm sure mentally, leading up to the fight, I'm sure you have a lot of adrenaline going on, and then after the fight, I'm sure you probably your whole body's kind of tensed up. So I'm sure after the fight, you feel a little bit exhausted. You
It
relax
wasn't that like
like the
'cause,
week
you know,
after.
my physical output ability was crazy thanks to your help.
Yeah.
With that said, um, I could barely fucking walk because I don't think I had a micro fracture on my toe, but like I hurt my toe, my big toe, kicking his skull, the bottom halves of my shin from kicking his arm. You start to feel like, oh, like that one shot that I ate that I didn't think was anything
Yeah.
hurt a little bit. So like my body wasn't walking around the way it was supposed to as far as its skeletal structure. But I was ready to bounce back. But at the same time, it's like there's a shift because like I did what I need to do, and now like I don't have anything lined up. Now I have to focus on my students because now I'm
course.
running the business, which is my gym.
Yeah.
And then there's the second issue of like I would like to fight again. This isn't the end of the road for me,
Nice.
but
I'd love to
I'm also
watch you.
blind from my right eye.
So how are you gonna deal with that?
I have to get surgery.
You have to get surgery.
So I
So what
took
did the doc say?
permanent band until I get that fixed. So when
You can.
I
you can
can't I
fix it.
can't fix it. I can't fix it. So like when I took the fight, they have a nurse there that does physicals,
Yeah.
and he immediately like zeroed in on my eye. So during my training camp, at the start of the training camp, I got hit in the eye by one of my heavyweights, and immediately I had blurry vision and never came back.
Yeah.
And I could see there's like a white
Mhm.
kind of thing on my lens.
Yeah.
And I knew that if I went to the doctor, like they'd be like, "Oh, you can't fight." So
Mhm.
like I purposely like didn't say shit, and that doctor was like, "What's going on with
You
your eye?"
saw it.
Yeah,
You
right
noticed.
away. He's like, "What the fuck's going on
Yeah,
with your eye?" And I
especially
was
him
like,
being a
like
doctor.
I got hit in the eye." And he's like, "Can you see?" I was like, "Yeah, I
Yeah.
can kind of see." And he's like, "Yo, like
Kind of see.
cover your eye." So I do. He's like, "No, use your other
Yeah.
hand." So like I do this, and like I make the smallest little peephole
Yeah.
from my hand, and I can see. And he's like, "How many fingers am I holding up? Like, what letter is this?"
So
And
you were looking through the
yeah,
little...
my little crack right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And without flinching, I read him off. I answer everything correct. And he's like, "I don't understand how you can see while your eye looks like that." He's like, "I'm gonna let you fight today," but he's like, "After this fight, like there's a ban on you,
Mhm.
and you have to physically like get a note that says you are okay for combative sports." So I won my fight with essentially one eye. And then I went to the ER, and they were like, "Oh, like what the fuck's going on with your eye?" And I was like, "It might be detached retina."
Mhm.
And they look at it and they're like, "Yo, how long have you had this for?" And I was like, 3 months. And they're like, "What do you mean 3 months?" And I was like,
Wow.
"Yeah, I had this fight going on. Like I knew that if I like talked to people, like I wouldn't fight." So
Mhm.
went through the fight, and they're like, "And?" I was like, "I won." And they're like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Yeah." So got referred to a specialist, and the specialist was like, "Yo, tell me about your fight." And I told
Yeah.
him about my fight. He's like, "Yeah, that's great. You need surgery."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's like, "There's no drops. There's nothing I can do for you." I was like, You need surgery." But good news is like the surgery doesn't take long. It's not like a crazy surgery. It's fairly common. It is
Good.
fixable. So until I get that done, and I'm in the middle of that process, I can't fight.
Yeah. So you
So
gotta
like
wait.
now
So
I'm
that's
in
on
the
hold.
coaching position. Now I'm in the like running the business
Yeah.
position. So it's just like a shift of like focus and energy. But
Got it.
there's been a change in the gym as far as like, yo, like everything that I've been like preaching in lessons, I kind of like showcased a little bit
Yeah.
during my fight.
You
So
showed it.
they're emulating me, and it's
Holds weight.
Yeah,
Holds
yeah,
even
yeah.
more weight to
Yeah,
it.
100%.
Absolutely. So let's talk about Miyamoto Musashi.
Musashi.
So for anyone listening who's unfamiliar with Miyamoto Musashi, he was a 17th century Japanese swordsman who never lost a duel. Is
Correct.
that right?
So
He lived a warrior's life, but also a deeply reflective, philosophical one. He wasn't just a killer with a blade. He was an artist, a writer, and a strategist. So he was undefeated in 60 plus duels. He trained obsessively, and he lived like a monk, right? How do
correct.
monks are very disciplined,
Mhm,
repetition, what a lot of people consider something that's boring, right?
mhm.
He wrote the Book of Five Rings as a guide to strategy in battle and in life, right? We can use that book as a guide. So prior to reading the Book of Five Rings, um, did you already know about Miyamoto?
I did not.
Okay.
I think I studied a lot of Mike Tyson.
Okay.
He had this documentary a while ago. And he talked about his mindset and process. And I don't know if during that interview,
Mike Tyson talked about his mindset or Miyamoto Musashi?
his own mindset.
His own mindset.
And I think he might have dropped Miyamoto's name.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure how I came across Miyamoto Musashi. And then I listened to like a partial rendition of that book, and then I actually listened via audiobook on the whole book, and it just hit home.
Yeah.
And then the more
So
I
it
listen,
resonated with you.
yeah, the
You're
more I
like,
listened to
okay.
that book, um, words that were already read differently the third time around.
How many times have you read that, Eddie?
Probably like 10 times.
10 times.
Yeah, yeah.
And I bet you're not done. You're gonna read it some more.
Nah, yeah.
It's not the type. It's probably not the type of book that you just read one time,
Correct,
right?
correct,
You go
correct.
back and you read it
Because
over and
then, because
over.
the more you read it, you become more aware of certain things,
Yeah.
and then as you're aware of it, like it's one thing like to be aware of a habit for the first time, like something like if you're subconsciously doing, like, oh, did you know that you do this? And you're like, no.
Yeah.
But it's already a habit, so now you're aware of it. So you're not fixing it the second time, third time around,
Yeah. Of
but you're
course.
like, okay, like I see why I'm like this is happening to me. Let me correct it. So the more you read it, you become aware, and then you start to master it, fixate on it, really like listen and learn the lesson that's trying to be preached. And like every word that this dude puts in this book has meaning, even the insignificant ones that you don't catch on the first time.
Absolutely. I agree because I listened to the audiobook and I love it. I'm probably on my second time listening to it
Mm.
as well. And same thing. Every time I listen to it, I pick up different things that I didn't get before. So you did not know about Miyamoto Musashi prior to reading the book, and is that how you found out about him?
Yeah.
From reading the book?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So as a fighter, do you see any of yourself in Musashi's lifestyle or approach?
Yes, I try to emulate it as much as possible.
Nice.
The process. I think when you first listen to the book, it's super fucking boring because he talks about mindsets, even mindsets that don't pertain to him. He talks about the way of the merchant,
Right.
the way of the
The
carpenter,
carpenter.
the way of the warrior.
Yeah.
He names other two, but when he talks about the different mindsets, I think he talks about the carpenter the most, whether you pay attention to it or
I
not.
noticed that.
Yeah, and the
He
reason
really
being
leans in on
is
that.
so one of my favorite quote from him is from One Thing, Know 1,000 Things. So if you know one thing really well, that in itself is like a journey or a representation of life. The journey of becoming good at Muay Thai, in my case, and there's obstacles and challenges. Whether learning technique, whether learning mindset, your first fight, your first this, your first that. How do you approach that obstacle and overcome it versus other things in life that like aren't that journey. So if you understand your journey really well, you can apply it to different areas of your life and vice versa. You can learn things from life and bring it to the one thing you really really enjoy.
Got it.
So for the way of the carpenter, the foreman, you have to know your people. You have to know the type of wood that you bring, whether it's like whether you're going to put it on the outside or whether you're building the base from it. And I think the
Real
carpenter
strategy.
is almost like the coach.
Mhm.
So you take a fight. All right, this dude fucking hits really hard. He moves this way. He moves that way. This is how you move. So how are we going to lay that outline of this camp? Okay, so we need to build muscle. So you need to get a strength trainer. You're probably not going to knock this motherfucker out. So be ready for a 5-round fight. With that said, I don't want you just surviving for 5 rounds. I want you in the driver's seat so you can knock him out. So you need to work on long distance running and sprint. You need to work on your technique. What kind of techniques? Long range, close range.
Mhm.
What do you do for this? What do you do for that? So immediately you almost take the foreman position.
Of course.
Or the carpenter position as far as the layout of your camp, and
Yeah.
then you go into the way of the warrior.
Yeah, so you had all your tools in place, right? You
Yeah.
had your strategy. Yeah. He talks about solitude, discipline, and repetition, right? Does that resonate with you, obviously, on
With
your
the
own
routine,
experience?
yeah, right
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. And he also talks about detachment as well, right? His teaching on detachment as outlined in his Dakota, The Path of Aloneness, right? Emphasizes a state of mind where one is free from control of desires and emotions. So this attachment allows for clearer perspective and stronger focus on action, particularly in combat, but also in life, right? So with his philosophy, acceptance, right? The first principle of the Dakota is accept everything just the way it is.
Correct.
Familiar with that, Eddie? Yeah, this means accepting reality without judgment or resistance, which is a foundation for true detachment. So are you able to relate that? Are you able to relate with that at all, Eddie?
Yes, 100%. I
Yeah.
think vices like I used to partake in smoking weed,
Yeah.
sometimes drink socially, eating junk food. And as soon as I took that fight, I stopped all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Stopped smoking weed. I didn't drink a lot to begin with, but like did zero drinking. Became really smart about the food that I ate. And again, like everything that I did was for that. And like even my family doesn't necessarily suffer, but like is aware that like for the next 3 months things are going to be a little bit more tedious as far as my energy because again, like I can't afford to take a day off and not take this seriously. So fuck, what does my day look like? It's packed, and it's packed full of a lot of not fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, as like
Currently,
no,
leading up,
during my camp, yeah, yeah,
leading
yeah.
up.
And you know when I like process all of this, it's like okay, but like I chose this. This is what has to be done if you want to survive. So there's that detachment of like, oh, like I would like, you know, this bullshit food. Fucking
Yeah,
too bad.
let go of it.
I would like to go to this party and fucking drink. Too fucking
Let
bad.
go of it. Right.
I would like to hang out with this that, or like skip my training so I could go hang out with friends and you know tend to this relationship. Too fucking bad.
Letting go.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of like accepting it what it is and moving forward with what your goal is.
Absolutely. So he advocates for detachment from, as you're speaking about, desire, particularly the desire for things like pleasure, possessions, and outcomes. And this allows one to act without being swayed by personal preferences or attachments.
Correct.
So that's just to touch in on what you're saying, right? Just letting go of things,
Yeah.
and you know, accepting things for how they really
What
are.
they are, correct.
Right? Deal with things straightforward,
Mm-hmm.
head on, right? So the Book of Five Rings, Eddie. So let's dive into the book itself, right? It's more than just a book on sword fighting. Initially, when you listen to it, right, you just hear about a lot of sword fighting, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you're like, okay, what's going on? But it doesn't necessarily mean literally, right? Because we're not taking actual swords
Yeah.
and applying it that way. We're applying it in other ways.
For
And
one thing, no, 1,000 things.
absolutely. And you've been able to break that stuff down a lot. It's really about mindset, adaptability, and as you said, mastering your craft, right? So one of the ideas that hit me was how Musashi says you must understand that there's more than one path to the top of the mountain. How do you interpret that, Eddie?
Man, so there's like this like perfect idea of like I think like I have a really interesting story. We can touch on that another time.
Mhm.
We can go on for hours about it. But there are times in the past where I thought ideally I should win. Like as far as like my story goes, like it would be a perfect story if I won right now. And like it would be fucking like cinematic ending. And I don't win. Because like I think more romanticizing about the idea.
Mhm.
Like it was owed to me. And I think this time around, I wasn't. Like it was just about like this one moment getting it done and like not it being about like the end result. And I had to check my own fucking ego because like I took the fight almost as like a business standpoint. Like it would be great for the gym. It would be great for the students. It would be great for me. It
Right.
would be great for everybody involved if I just won. But at the same time, it's like this motherfucker also has a lot of shit writing on it. So about that moment, like once the bell rings, like you guys are both there to do that one thing. So being detached from that and just like
Being detached from that. I like
and
that.
just being present in
Mhm.
that moment,
Mhm.
and not letting your ego get into it, and like it's super hard to like split hairs there, but it's just again nothing really matters in that moment except for that, and the short foresight of like what's going to come, which is like the next round.
Yeah.
So it's like don't even when I was like I knew I was gonna win.
Yeah.
Like third round, I was like this dude is not touching me,
Mhm.
and I'm like I dropped him in the second round. I could probably stop putting effort right now, and I should be fine. But like
Mhm.
this dude also has the power to knock me out. So
Yeah.
it's like shut that up. Like you still have two more rounds. Do not ease off. Like I
Right.
know you're tired. I know your shins hurt.
Yeah.
Drive the stake in the heart and just do the damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. So Musashi emphasizes formlessness, right? Adapting to what's in front of you, right? How do you apply that in the ring, Eddie? Formless and just
So
adapting to whatever's right in front of you.
the book is consisted of like 5 elements. So
Yeah.
there's the book of earth or the ground book, which is like the style. So your form. So like you could have a Muay Thai background or a Kyokushin karate background or a
Mhm.
Taekwondo background. That's the earth. Then you have um fire, which is like spirit and energy. If you have a big fire, like you're easily perceived, but like for the most part, like you have a strong fighting energy.
Which is
Little,
what he had, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The aggressive style.
You have the Wind Book, which is like traditions. So like in Muay Thai, you have the ceremonial
Yeah.
dance. You have like a way of hitting. You have the Water Book, which is like being formless. So if you understand the mindsets of others, you can kind of apply different styles into your own style, which is he talks about it being taboo and it's not like the way, but he also talks about don't talk about this way or that way,
Right.
favoring one weapon over the other.
Yeah.
And I think I started off as a traditional Muay Thai fighter, and I picked up a lot of ideas, refining, my legs, my kicks, my knees, my elbows, my long game, my short game, my boxing, my clinching, and then being well aware that like this dude, if you stand in front of him and if you get baited by your ego, and try to like, fight him in his own fight, he's going to fucking win.
Yeah.
So again, not being formless, like doing what you have to do, and having the strategy that's going to best suit for winning this fight. So although I can throw hands for this particular fight, if I go into that, that would be like the path of most resistance. I'm gonna fucking lose.
Right.
So using the movement, using the yin yang foot, so not having a stance, being orthodox or strictly southpaw, moving from left and right. And he talks about the yin yang foot when fighting multiple people. Attacking danger from the direction it comes or avoiding danger from the direction that it comes. And again, not being fixated on a stance. Like
Right.
it's just movement. Just move away from the danger and cut the motherfucker.
Yeah.
He talks about swords, but like hit the motherfucker,
Right.
kick the motherfucker,
Yeah.
chop him down, cut him, kill him. Everything is with the intent of like cutting him down. I'm not touching him to like waste shots. Every shot has to be with the intent of hurting him or slowing him down for the future rounds. That way, the longer the fight goes, the less mobile he becomes.
Yeah.
As opposed to like me gassing myself out. Like it's not about gassing. I'm going to continue to chop until you die.
Strategically
Yep.
trying to break him down. So there's also this idea, like we spoke about earlier, of detachment, not getting emotional in battle in the Book of Five Rings, right? How does that show up in your fights?
Oh man, this dude.
And in your prep.
Again,
and in the fight.
He dropped me multiple times, whether it was like a push kick. He would I think like I dropped an axe kick and he caught my leg and he like swept it. And like for those that don't know what's going on, all people really understand is that he's standing over me, looking down at me, and I'm on the ground. And that looks bad, but like I know it doesn't score a lot of points. So like even if it did hurt or even if he did get like a move up on me, like we're in the middle of war. Like I don't have the time to like cry over spilled milk and be like, oh man, he fucking got me. Like that looks bad. It's like
Right.
get the fuck up and like continue to hurt this motherfucker. So like
I
don't,
saw you get up and start clapping.
yeah. I'm like, yeah, good for you, good shit.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't care about those emotions. At the end of the day, like whether I'm doing good or whether I'm doing bad, until that motherfucker is either on the ground or I have my hands up in the air, like the purpose is to continue to hurt him. And until the moment is over, like anything other than putting energy into that is a waste of fucking time.
Right. You're even your thoughts, right?
Yeah,
Wasting
it's like,
energy on your thoughts.
Shut up. Just shut up, get up,
yeah.
and fucking continue to hurt him. The more that I rest, the more he rests. And I don't want that motherfucker to rest.
Yeah. Miyamoto Musashi also says the way is in training, right? So how important is repetition in your success? Your training leading up and the way you train.
Everything,
right?
every day is repetition. Whether it's basics, whether it's emulating him, everything. It's like, again, micromanage, being creative about how you look at the same thing from a bunch of different angles and highlighting different aspects. Balance, breathing, posture, striking, defense, movement, all this shit. So it's like over 3 months, like over and over, twice a day, once a day, really hard. And
doesn't matter how many times, right?
It doesn't matter until you get it right.
Doesn't matter if you don't feel like doing it. Doesn't matter if you're sick of it. Doesn't matter if you're tired of it.
Correct.
Over and over and
Correct.
over.
And it only matters if you win. And if you win, then like, good job. Then it was all worth it. And if you lose, that means you didn't fucking do enough.
And I think that's where the magic happens, in the repetition and the repetitiveness of the training. When you got to be able to handle the boredom of doing the same stuff
100%.
over and over and stay focused and stick to the plan, you know, I think that's where all the magic happens. When you show up
100%.
and you keep doing it. That's with everything. That's with, you know, cooking food, meal prepping also as well, doing your cardio, doing your training, hitting pads, doing your resistance training, right? Doing your strength and conditioning just over and over and over, even when you're not in the mood, right? Applying that self-discipline, not feeling motivated, but still just showing up no matter what.
Correct.
And getting it done.
Consistency.
Yep, consistency. Any quotes or concepts that stood out to you the most from that book?
From One Thing, No 1,000 Things.
That's
the one. The first time I listen to it, it always hits. And then when I go back to the book and I listen to another aspect, I repeat that line from One Thing to 1,000 Things. And then, you know, whatever analogy or correlation that I heard from that one, the second phrase of listening to the second time around, I'm like, that's what he meant. Or like, like this is from a different aspect. He talks about
so you can get a different viewpoint.
Yeah. Even when he talks about like using his sword. I've never fucking held a sword, but like slashing. The idea of like slashing when you throw in like flickering jabs or like kicks that don't really like hurt. Like it's a waste of energy.
Yeah.
Every single time you touch him, it's to fucking cut him. So when I kick at him, it's not like I'm trying to get a reaction. Like if I'm swinging, it's to fucking
It's with intent.
It's to cut him. It's to hurt him. Even like gliding down swords and feeling like pressure. It's almost like clinch work. Like when I feeling the forearms, throwing the knees, feeling his balance of whether he's trying to like trip me or like throw something. This dude's a big dude, and I think they're called Bangkok style. This is his gym, so it's super traditional like Thai style. I don't think he was aware that like I like knew how to clinch as well as I did.
Yeah.
So like, you know, he grabbed me the clinch and he's the bigger dude. So like
yeah, your clinching's good. I've been dropped. You dropped me quick.
I've been running around the whole fucking fight, chopping away at his legs, and now he finally has me in his hands. And as soon as he does that, like I start kneeing the fuck out of his thighs.
I saw
and
that.
He's like, and then he throws an elbow and like he doesn't catch me. And I throw an additional two.
It looked like when you guys were clinched up and you were kneeing his thigh, it looked like he didn't know how to deal with that. Man.
Nah, I don't think he was aware.
He didn't have much of a response to that.
Nah. But I think he was either looking for rest or looking to use his strength. And when I started to like, again, I have a game plan. As soon as you do that, like, what do? Immediately transition. I forgot where I was going with this, but yeah.
Well, let's shift from the fight, Eddie, okay, and the book, and let's talk a little bit about life, okay? Because being a martial artist isn't just something you do in the ring, right? It becomes part of who you are.
Correct.
Right? So what's the biggest lesson that you've learned from martial arts that applies to life outside of fighting? How has this helped you with life?
Do what you're going to say. Keep yourself accountable. So it's one thing to have desires. Everybody wants to be a fucking champion. No one wants to put in the fucking work.
They don't want the process.
Nah,
they don't want the outcome.
Nah. Everyone wants six-pack abs, but no one wants to fucking do the ice baths, count their calories, pick up the fucking weight,
do the cardio,
show up on fucking time. You know, you want a healthy relationship. You got to listen to your partner. You have to put in the work. You have to be consistent. You know, clean your fucking house, do your fucking chores, put energy into your fucking child. Listen to them. Just because you're bigger than them, it's not do as I say, not as I do. Like if they point something out, there's some validity in what they say. Keep yourself accountable. Make it fair. Communication. Everything. Even my students. If I fuck up, like it's not like, oh, I'm the teacher. Like I can't fuck up. Like, oh, I fucked up here.
You own up to it.
Yeah, 100%. They point something out. What about this? Open dialogue. Give them explanations, and not like, oh, you don't know any better. Just shut up and listen. Like, like invite the questions. Make sure that like you're able to explain everything and truly understand, so they can truly understand.
So you also keep even as a teacher to your students, you still keep a growth mindset.
100%. I've taught lessons on ideas that my students do, whether they know it or not.
Yeah.
I think it's something in their subconscious. They'll do something, they'll play with an idea, I'll catch it, they'll catch me, I'll give them a high five or, you know, kudos, and then later on down the week, I'll ponder that idea, and then I'll teach it. And I'll be like, whether you know it or not, you taught this class.
I think a general rule of thumb that's going to help anybody out in maintaining that growth mindset is keeping the mindset of assume that the person that you're speaking to might know something that you don't.
Correct.
Right? Instead of having such a closed mind. I think as soon as you close your mind off like that and think that you know it all, no matter how good you are at something. I think that's just when you stop growing, right? And you become stagnant. Right.
Correct.
So I think it's important to maintain the opposite, just have that growth mindset so you can keep growing and keep learning, right? So let me ask you, Eddie, has fighting changed the way that you approach adversity or decision making? You apply it.
It's my analogy for life.
Yeah.
Whether I used to work at Lowe's, and it's like it doesn't matter if you're a nobody in the food chain or in the hierarchy of work. It doesn't matter if you're some random. I treat everybody the same.
Mhm.
And this may be controversial, but it's like whether you're a homeless person, whether you're a child,
Everybody
whether you're a
deserves
woman, whether you're a man.
the
If
same
you talk to
respect.
you, if you talk to me, I'm gonna acknowledge you. If you show me
Absolutely.
disrespect, like I'm gonna showcase the same thing back. So I don't overlook or underlook anybody. I give everybody humanity,
Mhm.
and I'll listen. So like again, like you could be a student, but if you say something of great importance, I'm gonna be like, yo, yeah,
That's good.
that was valid. That was valid. And again, like I don't care if you're a 7-time world champion. If you show me some bullshit, I'm gonna be like, yo, that looks like bullshit.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You'll call it like it is. What advice would you give to young men trying to find direction, discipline, or purpose? And you teach a lot of young men. You teach students, right? A lot of young teenagers and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know what advice would you give?
Ah man, I think finding first, I guess what is your purpose? Like what are
Mhm.
you trying to accomplish? If you're trying to be happy, if you're trying to be healthy, like do something that you love. On top of do something that you love, find the community within that frame that's healthy for you. Because there's like I could say like, oh, go do Muay Thai and read this fucking book. With that said, I've heard a lot of horror stories of people trying out Muay Thai and just getting a shit fucking coach. And it like ruins their perspective
Have
on
a bad
fighting or Muay Thai. They have a
experience.
bad experience and it's just bad.
Yeah.
And like I can preach about Muay Thai, but then I listen to another person teach it, and I'm like, ooh, that's bad.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't say that like only my style is really good, but it's like the mentorship. Like I know like when I did football, like I'm still in a good relationship with all my football high school coaches
That's
who were
awesome.
great mentors to me.
That's
So it's
amazing.
like I loved football, I loved wrestling, I loved lacrosse, I loved Muay Thai, and all of my mentors and coaches from there, I'm in still great contact because of the idea. So it's not what you want to do. It's a little bit of like, yes, what and how. And I think if you surround yourself with good people, with good dialogue, with good intentions, with good heart, and that have that open dialogue to
Mhm.
talk, is good for your overall growth.
Absolutely. I like that. Do you feel there's a spiritual side to martial arts for you?
Yes,
How
yes,
so?
yes, yes. Um, it's the art of self awareness.
Hmm.
So like it almost is like a community thing. You helped me out.
Yeah.
My students supported me going to the fight. But at the end of the day, when that bell starts, it's just you.
Yeah.
When you have a hard time, it's just you talking to yourself. Sometimes you can go back to your corner and they can point out some stuff that you're not seeing, but it all falls on you. And then even when you're getting that support, it all falls on you. I can go to your gym, but you can't pick up the weight for me.
Exactly.
I can't. You can't.
I could give you the best training program in the
But if I
world.
but if I don't follow it,
Yep.
then
If you
fucking
don't follow it, I could give you the best meal plan to follow,
yep.
right? But if you don't follow it at the end of the day, right, it all goes back onto you, right?
Correct.
You're,
So I think that internal dialogue, lots of times people will get a move wrong and immediately be like, fuck shit, I'm a fucking dumbass, like,
mhm,
this and that. And it's like, yo, chill, like,
mhm,
have some grace for yourself. Like, I understand being frustrated, I've been there, but it's like only you can get yourself out of there. Only
of
you can
course.
like coach yourself and talk to yourself positively to move forward. And ultimately, as long as you move forward, you're good. So I think being spiritual and like I think I have a good balance of like be like, oh, you're being a bitch, like get up and like go ahead and do it. Or like you're being too hard on yourself, like relax, breathe. And I think like when I'm truly in danger, that internal dialogue helps me out to
Kicks
move
in.
forward.
Hmm.
And then when I'm being too stagnant, there's that like self awareness of being disappointed in myself where I'm like, dude, you're bullshitting. Like,
Yeah,
you know, you could do more.
of course.
Or like even like with my son, like he's like, yo, can we go play? And I'm fucking tired. And I'm like, nah, baby, can we do some other time?
Hmm.
And he'd be like, oh, okay. And he looks disappointed. And I look at his face and I'm like, that was me when I was his age, being disappointed that my father couldn't like play with me.
Yeah,
And I'm like, you know what? Come back over here. Let's go play. Like, you're right. Like, I'm not putting enough energy into you. Like,
yeah,
you're a very important relationship to me. So it's super spiritual as far as like having that very quiet dialogue with yourself, which could be
Absolutely.
interpreted as like your spirituality, or like even like talking to God. I pray every
Nice.
day.
Every
And I
day.
think being intentional about what I ask for makes you aware of like those moments where like you would like to take it easy and like, oh well, here's this moment like you ask for strength,
You're
here's training.
Yeah.
You ask for like,
You're gonna be
discipline. Yeah,
put
you
to the
put to the
test,
test.
right?
Do you really want
Be
this
careful
shit?
what you wish for,
Correct,
right?
correct.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're not. No one's just gonna drop a present on your lap and be like, "Here is strength. Here's a championship belt."
How do you make your
Nah.
muscles stronger? By putting
Correct.
them under stress. It's
Correct.
got to be put
Correct.
under a stress test. If
Yep.
you want something to change to get stronger, right? Yeah. So Eddie, so for anybody, well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you have planned in the future for fighting. And for anybody listening, if they want to follow your journey as a fighter, how can people follow you on your socials?
I am Jomprai 28, Jomprai. That's the Thai equivalent of Tarzan, 28.
And
Or
this,
you can follow Kicks Martial Arts. I think Face Kicks is also the owner of the gym. So come by Kicks Martial Arts in Lancaster.
and this is how people can follow your journey, catch your
Follow,
next fight,
whether you want to watch or partake
watch you
in it
do ice
itself.
baths.
Yeah. Fuck you. I still hate them. I'll do them, but I fucking hate them.
Yeah.
Catch me over there, and I'm an open book. So
Nice.
It's a vibe over there.
Nice, very nice. Well, Eddie, this has been amazing, and I appreciate you coming on the show.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
You've given us a look not just into the fight, but into the mind of a warrior. So this has been an amazing opportunity to sit down and pick your brain a little bit, and understand what is inside the mind of a amazing fighter like yourself. So I really appreciate you carving out some time out of your day to get on the show, episode 28. And until next time, and everybody that tuned in, thanks for tuning in. If today's conversation has inspired you and you're ready to take your fitness journey to the next level, hopefully he inspired you
What about
as well.
you, man? What about you? Hit up the best trainer. I've picked up weights myself, and you do it differently.
Yeah.
And again, when you say you never know when someone walks into a room, what they know. First time I met you, you're not a fighter. You look big. You look like a handsome ass fuckboy. and I was like, oh, this guy's gonna be full of fucking ego. And you are so down to earth. And again, as much as I am a master of my craft, you're equally a master of your craft and a genius of your craft. So like,
Appreciate that.
if you want to get your body right, hit this guy up.
Absolutely. If you want to get your body right, if you want to get fit, change your life, change your mindset, change the way you think. I'd love to be part of that journey with you. So if you want to get more information, you can check out www.quikfit.com. I have custom fitness programs, nutrition coaching, and everything that you need to build discipline, get stronger, feel better, and completely transform your life. So that's online coaching. I could train anybody anywhere in the world. QUIKFITT.com. Until next time, keep training hard, stay focused, and see you guys on the next episode. Thank you, Eddie.